So I just try and humanize people. There's so much dehumanization between people who are housed and unhoused. And typically I start at people's like origin stories because we are more than our circumstance. So Blake, tell me about yourself. Where were you born and raised?
I was born Fort Campbell, Kentucky on Tennessee side. It's Kentucky, but it's the Tennessee-owned part of the military base. So
Gotcha.
I was born there. And I grew up all over the South. Like Texas, Louisiana, Tennessee, like Houston, Texas, Orange, Texas, Starks, Louisiana, stuff like that, you know.
And
Nashville, Tennessee.
Your folks were military?
My stepdad was.
Gotcha.
And my mom was just nobody.
Any siblings?
I have a half brother and a half sister.
Gotcha.
My half brother's dead, and my sister is a good person.
Nice. Well, tell me about your home life. What was growing up like for you?
Chaotic.
Are you open to elaborating?
A lot of abuse. Chaos.
Now, when you were going through that, were you and your siblings like close?
I had my little brother back then. My little sister is like 13 years younger than me, so she didn't come along until I was like basically grown. So.
But you and your brother, did you guys like stick together and survive together, I guess, maybe, lack of a better term?
In a sense, yeah. I mean, my little brother used to pick on me. I was a nice kid, you know, but it really was us against everybody.
So, growing up, you went to elementary school?
Yeah.
High school?
I went to high school in Montana.
Oh.
I went to Hellgate High School and Sentinel High School for everything except for like last year or two. I failed sophomore year and just never went back.
What were you doing for fun in Montana?
Go out to the fucking pond, Christ Pond, you know what I mean? Swim. Snowmobiles in the winter. My uncle had a bunch of big ass snowmobiles.
Nice.
And hunting. And just typical kid shit, you know what I mean? Me and my cousins and uncles and shit.
Oh, so you had family in Montana?
A little bit, yeah.
Nice.
They all moved up, kind of like pack mentality, you know what I mean? One moved up and then a bunch of them moved up.
Gotcha.
And I lived there from 2001 to 2005, and then I hit the streets in Montana, Missoula, Montana. And I stayed there for like 6 months, and I came out to Seattle, and I never left.
No, I'm curious, like, how did that transition happen where you thought, or I don't even know if it's the preemptive thought, but just like, I'm going to live on the streets now instead of where you were?
I just didn't know what to do.
Tell me more about that.
I was a young kid that never got taught nothing. I was raised by a bunch of females and really didn't have no life skills. A bunch of lazy ass females at that, you know what I mean? Welfare females, you know? There's nothing bad about that, but my mom, my aunts, and grandmother. My grandmother's the only one that ever taught me anything. My aunts, my mom never really taught me shit.
And your stepdad?
He's the most foul person on the earth.
Well, which kind of brings me to your biological dad. Is he in the picture?
I don't know.
You know, never knew.
No.
Gotcha. So at what, you were a teenager when you hit the streets?
I was 18.
18?
Yeah. And I was homeless in Montana, and I met some deadhead kids, you know what I mean? My buddy Sonny fucking wanted to go hitchhiking with me all over the States, and we made it to Seattle, and I never left.
Yeah, right.
It was the first stop, and I didn't leave. Not for a couple years. And I made it to San Francisco and Portland finally, but I always came back to Seattle.
Yeah. How long ago was this?
2005.
Oh, 2000. Oh, yeah. So it's like almost, good 20 years at least. Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did a bunch of time in prison.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Well, so a little bit, we talked, I don't know, a week ago about you've had a partner since you were a teenager.
It hasn't been my partner since then. It's been like my best friend.
Okay, but she was from Montana as well? Here?
No, she's from here.
Oh, gotcha. And any kids in there?
They're my stepkids, but they're my kids.
Okay, so she has, right. And you talk to your sister? No, she's in Montana still, or?
No, she lives in Michigan.
Sorry?
She lives in Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. Gotcha. Well, Blake, tell me about your current situation. Like, came into Seattle in 2005. You've been on the streets since 2005?
The streets and prison.
Prison.
And I've been out of prison this time since 2019, I think. I don't know, like 2020.
Gotcha.
And me and my wife had an apartment for a couple of years.
So you did have some stable housing for a couple of years.
Because COVID, we didn't have to pay no rent, you know what I mean?
Right. During COVID, you got stable housing.
And then we got addicted to drugs again. And we lost our apartment recently, and back out here.
Yeah. So has it been like you've gotten, I guess the word is clean or sober?
A couple times,
and then falling back into that. And so now currently, where are you staying?
Anywhere, you know. I usually don't stay in the same spot more than a night or two.
Gotcha. Well, tell me, like, your partner's where? You don't know where she's at?
I don't know where she is the last couple of days. She's going through some shit, and I blew up on her the other day. Because she took stuff of mine. And
well, is there anything that you'd want to tell or let the people of Seattle know?
Like what?
I don't know, like, I do Seattle stories to humanize people, and there's this stigma of, like, people judge
Addicts
people
are
who are
bad
unhoused.
people.
Say again?
Like addicts are bad people?
I mean that because people are living in poverty, they're bad people. It's just like there's a stigma that all homeless people are XYZ kind of thing.
It's not true though.
Yeah, right. And that's why I'm doing this story, is because it's not true. And so I'm trying to break that stigma from the people from the voices that are, unheard, not seen, like yourself. It's like people don't know, oh man, like Blake grew up in this abusive situation, moved all over the place, like parents that, XYZ. It's like people don't know that stuff about people who are unhoused. And this is a chance to go look in someone's eyes and go like, oh, yeah, like maybe I'm wrong about the stigma.
I mean, I'd say not all drug addicts are bad people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a violent criminal, but it's usually out of necessity. It's not that I want to be that way. Sometimes I don't have a choice.
Yeah. Yeah, tell me more about that necessity and what manner.
I don't know, I've always been the nice guy, you know. And people take that as weakness. Sometimes I have to stand up for myself, you know.
Yeah.
In the wall, it doesn't look good. It just looks like I'm a crazy person. But really, I'm just standing up for myself.
Yeah.
Trying to keep what's mine and trying not to let people fucking put me down, you know what I mean? Further than society has.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard people say, I'm in this situation and I have to do XYZ to survive.
Yeah.
Like to eat and or sleep or whatever they need to do. And it's just like, you know, people are coping with legal and illegal drugs. Like we all cope with something, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, and people think it's a drug problem, which is like,
I mean, it's part of it.
you know, I mean, addiction exists, right? Of course, I think in all of us we have these addictions to something, you know, and we're all coping with life and the pain and suffering and trauma. And it's like my viewpoint is somebody who's unhoused is like, you're going through a lot of fucking trauma. And it's like, if you can get some reprise a little bit from doing that, you know, of course there's consequences, like major ones, but
Yeah, if I can fucking get high and forget about shit for a minute,
yeah.
it seems worth it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Blake, like, what does the future look like for you? What do you want? You have hope.
Stability. My kids.
Yeah.
My wife. Getting lots of money. No, just stability in my family.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's like we all need that stability. Well, tell me about the Commons. How long have you been going there?
I think the first time I came here was right around Christmas when we got kicked out of our apartment.
Okay.
We got kicked out like literally days before Christmas. Like December 23rd or something like that, December 22nd. And they just showed up and tore us the fuck off.
Yeah.
And that's even after our apartments like did a lot of fucked up shit to us. Had people fucking, the maintenance crew was running around smutting us up to all the other neighbors, and we kept to ourselves. They got people putting rotting meat on our doorsteps, and like meat that's so rotting it's like desiccated, you know what I mean? It's like dried out. It can't rot anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's disgusting. Just, I wouldn't do that to someone I don't like.
Yeah, my guess is that doesn't feel very good.
Especially the people that don't know us. Because what? Because I dug in the dumpster in our fucking apartment complex? Because I was a little different. I never had anything bad to say to anybody. Even when they were rude to me, I said, you get on the elevator with them, have a nice day, you know.
Yeah.
Every time without fail.
Yeah.
and they still just treating me and my wife like we're garbage, you know. Told us we're shitty parents because we dig cigarette butts out of the ashtray. Like, who cares? My kids never went without nothing.
Where are your kids at now?
They're with their grandmother.
In Seattle?
Tequila.
Tequila, close. Yeah. And you guys have relationships with them?
We haven't talked to them in a while because we're trying to sort out our problems.
Right.
And it's not fair to project it on them, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which comes where you're talking earlier about that stability piece. Once we get that stable, and you know, I guess speaking of housing, like, has there been any process or progress with housing or?
Yeah, we signed up for the housing thing. I haven't heard anything yet, but
yeah,
hopefully soon. I need to try and patch shit up with my wife.
Yeah.
Get her to see things as they are, not as she thinks they are.
Well, man, I appreciate you talking and being open, and it's good to get to know you a little bit more. I mean, I see you at the Commons, and yeah, it's good to hear your voice.
Thank you.
Grab that little mic. Oh, shit.